From the college campuses of Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, and Washington and Lee University in Lexington, Virginia, the National Broadcasting Company presents the College Quiz Bowl. Tonight, transcribed, Smith College defends its Quiz Bowl title against the challenging varsity scholars of Washington and Lee University. And here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Originating as a USO activity created by Canadian Don Reid for World War II soldiers, the College Quiz Bowl was developed into a radio show by Reid and John Moses. It debuted on NBC in the fall of 1953. Two teams of All-American Varsity students from different universities competed for prizes and recognition. On Sunday, February 21st, 1954, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the ladies of Smith College defended their title against the men of Washington and Lee University.
Henry Turner, Bethesda, Maryland. Fred Lackman, Lexington, Virginia.
Harold Quinn, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, that's the Washington and Lee team. Now, let's look in on the current champs up in Northampton, Massachusetts. Standing by to serve as Smith's referee again tonight is Jim Strong of station WTIC in Hartford, Connecticut. Are the champs ready to go, Jim?
They sure are, Alan. And they've got a large group of young ladies here to cheer them on. Here are the team members to say hello.
Ann Murphy, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Sydney Howard, New York City. Wendy McEnany, Princeton, New Jersey. Linda Wofsy, Stamford, Connecticut.
All right, you've met both teams. Now, before Dick Dudley explains our College Quiz Bowl rules, may I point out that we recognize full well here in the College Quiz Bowl that in putting the emphasis on a quick recall of specific facts, we are pointing up only one of the objectives of college education. And we are likewise trying to give you an opportunity to meet a few of the many remarkable, well-rounded personalities to be found on every American campus. Okay, now, Dick, how about those rules?
Right, Alan, here they are. Now, Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points. And the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. Now, when Smith College signals, you'll hear. And when Washington and Lee University signals, you'll hear. By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first, even by a split second, activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. If a team gives a wrong answer to the toss-up question, the other team is given a chance to answer it. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question worth a stated number of points. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title in the College Quiz Bowl.
Thank you, Dick. Now remember, teams, you may interrupt the toss-up question before I've finished asking it. But if you do, and if your answer is wrong, your team will be penalized 5 points, and I will repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. Okay, those are the rules, and there's the opening whistle, so let's go. The toss-up question that's coming up now, if you get it right, could earn for you a chance at a 40-point bonus. Here is the first toss-up. In 1924, a man named Mallory and a man named Irvine literally disappeared into Washington and Lee, I mean.
Bobby Paxton.
They attempted to climb Mount Everest and were lost.
Right. That is the answer for 10 points. You interrupted a question that I had not completed, and you got the right answer before you heard the question, which was to be, they literally disappeared into thin air. We're going to give you 10 points if you can state more exactly the geographic location of their disappearance. And in telling us Mount Everest, you got the 10-point toss-up question and a chance at a 40-point bonus, Washington and Lee. So here you go. Now, this question is particularly apt in view of the fact that you were competing tonight against the ladies of Smith College. You know, ever since Eve ate the apple and Pandora opened the box, the ladies have been getting in and out of a lot of trouble. We're going to give you 10 points now. Each time you can give us the full names of the following ladies. In 44 B.C., this lady had a bad dream and tried to keep her husband home from the office with a slight cold.
We've got the answer on that.
Okay, who is it?
Harold Quinn, Alan.
Harold?
That was Calpurnia, the wife of Julius Caesar.
That's right, for 10 points. Can you tell us what her dream was? What did she dream?
No, I'm not quite sure, Alan.
She had dreamed about the Ides of March, right. Okay. You got the right name, and that was the question. All right, now, that was worth 10 points in this 40-point bonus question. In 1431 A.D., this famous lady had a lot of trouble because the Burgundians were mean enough to sell her to the English. Who was she? For 10 points.
Fred Lackman.
Was that Joan of Arc?
That was Joan of Arc for 10 points. All right. In 1793, this lady completely lost her head. Who was she?
We've got the answer from Henry Turner.
Marie Antoinette.
Right, for 10 points. In 1934, this Canadian lady had trouble, but it all turned out to be a multiple blessing in the end. Who was she?
We've got the answer from Harold Quinn.
Mrs. Beyond.
Right, for 10 points. Okay. Here we go now, back to a toss-up question. Listen carefully. A cathedral in Gloucester, England, was built over a period of many years. In the nave of the cathedral, some of the arches are rounded and some pointed. For 10 points, which arches were built first? Washington and Lee.
Bobby Paxton.
The rounded arches were built first.
Why, you're right, for 10 points.
Romanesque architecture.
Right, for 10 points. Romanesque architecture preceded the Gothic arches with the points. Okay, for 10 points now, Washington and Lee, you've won a chance at a 25-point bonus. Anybody in the Washington and Lee team can tell me this. You know, the expression, God save the king, originated in the Bible. 25 points if you can tell us the king to whom this blessing was first applied.
Just a moment. We're having a little conference.
All right. Confer and come up with an answer.
You ready, fellas?
Time is coming.
Hurry up. All right, we've got it. Harold Quinn.
Was it King David?
No, I'm sorry. It was King Samuel. The first book of Samuel, chapter 10, verse 24. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king. All right, here we go back now. Oh, but before we go back to another toss-up question, let's find out first what are the stakes in this quiz game. Dick, that's your job.
All right, each week NBC will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. It may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractive, dependable Whitner wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitner family of fine watches, since 1866 makers of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes. And now, with exactly 20 minutes to go, the score, Smith, 0. Washington and Lee, 60. And now we'll go back to a toss-up question, Alan.
All right, coming up is a 30-point musical bonus, so on your toes with this toss-up. You'll get 10 points if you can tell us who is Rise and Shine. Smith.
Ann Murphy.
He's the Cocker Spaniel who won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club show.
Right, for 10 points. Okay, here you go, Smith College, with a 30-point musical bonus. You're going to hear 3 classical selections, and each with a title that refers to a specific country. In the title of each, you will have a reference to a specific country. You'll get 10 points each time you can name the country. Okay, Smith, here's the first.
Hungarian Rhapsody? Hungary? Is it Hungary?
Sidney Howard.
All right. I'm sorry, you missed it. It's Spain. That's the Symphony Español by Lalo. All right. What country is mentioned in the title of this composition? Nobody at Smith going to tell me? That's Mexico. El Salón, Mexico by Aaron Copland. All right. Smith, here we go. You can still make 10 points on this if you'll tell us the countries mentioned in the title of this composition.
Washington and Lee would win this evening and defend their title for 5 consecutive weeks until losing to Syracuse on March 28th. The College Quiz Bowl moved to CBS TV in 1955. In 1963, it moved to NBC, where it remained on the air until 1970. Various non-televised versions of this competition continued to air into the 21st century. In November of 2020, NBC announced a revival of the show. It premiered on June 22nd, 2021.
Who named the 7th and 8th months of the year after themselves? Washington and Lee.
Fred Lackman.
Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar.
Right, for 10 points. They, of course, named July and August, respectively, after themselves. All right, now, Washington Lee, you got a chance at a 30-point bonus. The news recently seems to have abounded with big business deals. Now, for 10 points each, anybody on the Washington and Lee team can tell me what each of the following men did to make headlines in the world of finance and business. First of all, for 10 points, what did Howard Hughes do recently?
We've got the answer from Harold Quinn.
He offered to buy up all the RKO stock at $6 a share.
Right, for 10 points. Now, what did Mr. Robert Ralph Young do?
We've got the answer again from Harold Quinn.
He's lobbying to become chairman of the board of the New York Central Railroad.
Right, for 10 points. What did Mr. Clark Gable do?